Mannix, you could take your seat over here, please. You know how this meeting works?
Yes, I do.
All right, you can only talk if you're holding the voice. All right, everyone ready? That is yes.
Yes.
Well, you're
What's wrong
holding
with
the
you
voice
people?
beam. We can't talk whilst we're not.
Okay, you're right. I'm sorry. All right, welcome to the, I don't know what number meeting this is, but it's a meeting, and we haven't had a meeting in a long time, so it's time for us to make some decisions and talk about a few things. I think the first item on the docket today is we have a what's the word I'm looking for? Help me out with the word. We have a nominee for a new country. Well, it's an old country, but it's going to have a new leader. And that nominee is Manx Gamer. Everyone welcome Manx Gamer. Oh, by the way, guys, if you're sitting in the carts, it makes you look the other way. So if you want me to see your face, you have to sit like your back to your chair. Anyway, or just stand there. It's probably better.
Standard
It's just
crouch.
another one of those glitch. Yeah. Anyway, so I will just say talk about the country briefly, and then I'll let Mannix take over. He'll explain what his ideas are, and then we will take a vote and decide whether or not we want to allow him in as leader. So let me just briefly talk about the laws. So his country that he wants to take over is Oceanus, and in the past this was an ocean country. This was a country based on fishing. It had some very strange laws, like every time it rained you had to go fishing, and the population kind of suffered. I don't think they were ready for such progressive laws over there, so that country failed, and now we're going to have a new take on Oceanus, and it's going to be called Poseidon. So that's Manx Gamer's objective here, is to call it Poseidon. I gotta say, Mannix, this is one of the best project proposals we've had. This is the best project proposal as far as presentation that we've had. You've put a lot of thought into this, so that's going to get you some points right there. Let me just summarize the laws really quickly. There's no killing other citizens, which is kind of self-explanatory. There's no stealing or griefing. There's no strip mining inside the city borders. There's no mining ores without silk touch. Everyone's innocent until proven guilty. You can only build in designated areas. There are taxes. Citizens have the right to fight against anything they disagree with. Avoid all conflicts with other citizens. And each citizen is required to build only the richest of houses. Displaying hints of blocks such as gold, iron, emeralds, and diamonds will let visitors see on their own the riches of Poseidon has to offer. So that's the general overview. So I'm going to hand it off to your ideas and what you want to accomplish this country.
All right. My name is Manix Gamer 17. The country I was wanting to take over is Oceanus. Now, the name of this country, the proposal I have for you guys today it's called Poseidon. Now, I chose Poseidon because of the 12 Olympians, and in my mind it sounded like a great name. It actually came about coming on to Gaia, where I thought about Oceanus, and that made me think about Poseidon. Now, I chose the name Poseidon because it stayed into the Greek mythology. Family name Gaia is actually a Greek name, and Oceanus, its predecessor, is actually a Greek name. Now, I'm telling you why you should pick Oceanus. 3 of the 7 countries is currently in need of a leader. Many asked why Oceanus and why not the country of Emerald Fields, and I simply say because of its riches. Technically, Oceanus never opened to the public, making it a surprise for not only what it has to offer for me, but what it has to offer for all the players and leaders that are going to be joining me as we open up this new country. I think that it's going to be an excitement for not only me, but for everyone to finally get a new country, a new set of life here in Gaia. And if I get approved today, I can't wait to make new friends with people that I haven't met on here before, and continue friendships with people that I do know on here. Um, Now I'm going to talk about a little bit of the government of Poseidon. First, I'm going to start off with the allies. Poseidon looks forward to being friendly to all of our neighboring country and to its leaders for the first couple of days. Of course, Poseidon will have its door closed as we work to improve former Oceanus' infrastructure and work on its bank system and economy. Now, next up in the government system is the taxes, which is a little interesting because it's something that a lot of leaders said that they are kind of skeptical on. Now, the taxes will work like this. Poseidon will build its economy on trade, taxes by the citizen of Poseidon. Each citizen is given a choice, again, a choice, to tend farms, fish, help with government projects and infrastructure, or pay a total of 9 gold or 9 iron. Taxes will help Poseidon pay for events around the community server, for example, the Olympic Games, participating in it, PvP tournaments, and wagers made around the server. Taxes will also help buy materials needed to build projects around Poseidon. The government of Poseidon will have a monarchy government system. I am the sole leader in Poseidon. The citizens of Poseidon will always have a right to voice its opinion. Now, with that is something interesting. It's the vote law. The vote law is basically this. Each citizen has a voice that they can speak with. And not this stick that I'm holding right now, of course, but it's the voice. It's like the voice. Yeah, I said that. But each citizen, they get to voice their opinions on something that they disagree with, on someone that they disagree with, such as second in command, such as something that they just don't like in general. There is some loopholes in that, and there is some fine print that you would have to read up more at the bottom of the page of this. Now I go to my final closing statement on this, and why pick Poseidon and Xenix Gamer 17. If approved by leaders, Poseidon will bring a new life to the Gaia community server. Poseidon will fill its maps with a Greek style, with a style never built or played before on this server. A Greek mythologist style in both buildings, events, and players inside of Poseidon's borders and markets in Marigold. If approved by leaders, Xenix Gamer will bring excitement and pleasure back into the server by promising a drama-free environment to both the citizens of Poseidon, citizens of other countries, and my fellow leaders. I'm gonna take that back. I don't think I've ever done anything to harm anything in the server, and
Sorry,
yeah, that's why I said I'm gonna take it back, but I started on it. And since March, I've been doing my fair share with helping out along in Sagelandia and making new friends and such. And that's all I have for my proposal. If there's anything that anyone would like to ask me. Oh, Sage, here you go.
Well, it's not a question. But
Speak up, Sage. Can't hear you.
It's not a question.
Yeah,
But
good.
I just wanted to say, Xenix Gamer is the second most dedicated person in my country. He's on. Most of the time when I'm online, he's helped a lot. He's helped a lot with a bunch of projects we're doing, like the stadium. And I think he'd be great for this position.
Okay, so you're basically saying that he would make a good leader, and he has your blessing.
Oh yes, I forgot you can see me.
Okay. All right. I have a few questions though and I encourage you all to start thinking of questions to ask him because I want to make sure that this is the right fit for this server. First of all, I like your rules, but there's nothing really to hook people. Why do you think people will choose your country over other countries?
That's really a good question. I think that when someone's picking a country, they will look at not only build styles, but they will also look in the leader, and they'll look at how their country is ran. And I think that our country will be well organized in a way that I'm not saying that any other country isn't organized, but in a way that it's kind of different. The tax system is probably the most thing that's out there. The tax system, I think that it's going to help ensure people that they're able to build, like they're able to do things around the server and around the country without feeling so isolated and without feeling that they have to spend their hard-earned diamonds on things that they probably don't want to spend on. You have a question?
I got lots of questions. So are you done answering?
Oh, okay.
You got a lot.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
All right. So you're saying that you're going to provide a place where people are going to feel like they're part of the community, but you're also going to give them some freedom while still keeping them under control and managed by you, basically, right?
Right.
Okay. So, but what I mean by like hook is, now that's all well and good, but that's pretty much every country. What sets your country apart in the world of Gaia? What is that thing that your country has that no other country can provide, that is going to make people say, oh, you know what? I'm going to investigate this country. They're doing something different, something new.
The one thing I can say that Poseidon will have to offer is definitely the Greek mythologist style buildings that we have. I don't think that any country is going to have like a set theme. I don't think that any country has a set theme on like their building styles or such. But I think that Poseidon is definitely Poseidon is going to have this Greek mythologist build theme with like underwater living sorts. You can explore any region that stays in that family. Now Poseidon is the Lord of Lord of waters and earthquakes. So of course you would have to correspond things with water. So with like living in water in sorts, there is no set rule on that, but I highly encourage that. And if anyone wants to venture out into that, then they would have that field in Poseidon, especially if you're the water god.
I don't want to be the only one asking questions here, but what kind of materials are you going to produce to sell in the shops? What is going to be your main export?
Things like main export, we will try to do a variety of things. I know a lot of people have been complaining about the wood economy here in Gaia, so we'll definitely try to expand upon that. And then like fishing, like of course, I know Oceanus had a big fishing market here in Gaia that people would buy and stuff, and even have a large stock of fish. And I think I'm gonna continue with that definitely because it's the Poseidon theme, like underwater living and the Greek mythologist theme. We'll definitely have like nether quartz, continuing in the riches part. And we'll try to venture out, like things that no one else have here on the server.
You're muted, man.
Oh, yeah, thank you. I have a question. You said you were gonna build with the richest materials. So you're gonna build with gold, iron, emerald, diamond blocks. That's what I'm getting from this.
In the Poseidon proposal, it actually says that we're going to be building, displaying hints of riches that Poseidon has to offer. That means like you can build your house out of stone or wood or such, but make sure to have a little, like 1 or 2 blocks of gold or 1 or 2 blocks of diamonds or iron or whatever you want to use. And that is going to display the rich culture that we're going to have here in Poseidon.
IGL, do you have any questions you want to ask about this?
Yeah, it just came up with one.
Yes, he's got one.
So, you said you're going to be the sole leader of the country, but when you're not on, are you going to have anyone going to be your second in command? Because I know that was important when the guy was first opening, people are supposed to have second land. Are you going to have a second in command?
Yes, every country has a second in command, or at least I know. I actually have someone in mind that's going to be a second in command, and that person is IMP Mando. He said that he would come over with me to Poseidon and help building such, and he would be my second in command. He would also. Oh, here we go.
No, you can keep talking. When someone stands, that just means they want to talk. So you finish talking, and then I'm
Okay.
next.
He said that he'll want to audition to become the second in command, but that's not set in stone. Any new players or anyone existing that would like to step up to that role, and anyone that I nominate to that role will definitely be welcomed.
All right, my question now is, how are you going to handle recruitment? One problem that we find on this server is that a lot of people want to join, but not everyone is a good fit for this server. So as a leader, you're going to have to find a way to, I hate to say like turn down people, but sometimes there's just a person that you don't want in your country. How are you going to handle recruitment? What kind of obstacles are you going to put in their way to becoming your country? Because in the past we've had leaders who would be like, hey, anyone who wants to join can join my country, but then we get griefers or annoying people or people who aren't in the spirit of Gaia, and we want to avoid that, basically. So how are you going to handle the recruitment process?